If you zoom up far enough, COVID starts to look less likely as an exception and more like a pattern. That's not minimizing what people went through, it's putting in a human context. If you zoom out far enough, COVID starts to look like less an exception and more like a pattern. That's not minimizing what people went through, it's putting it in human context. Every generation seems to meet at least one medical crisis that feels overwhelming at the time. Something new, something frightening, something that scrambles certainty and exposes how uncomfortable we are with not knowing. COVID was ours. And already, not even 5 years on, it can start to feel strangely distant, like a vivid dream that once dominated everything and now sits quietly in the background of memory. That's not denial, that's adaptation. COVID is part of human history now. It hasn't disappeared, and it won't. It's settling into coexistence, much like the Spanish flu did in a century ago. The Spanish flu didn't vanish, it evolved, reshuffled, and became part of the influenza story with new strains appearing year after year. That's why we have seasonal flu vaccines. Not because flu is harmless, but because we learned how to live with it. COVID is moving along that same path. Different variants, different waves, different levels of severity. What's changing isn't the virus alone, it's us. We adapt, medicine adapts, public health adapts, and slowly the sense of constant emergency fades. We have seen this before. Think about HIV. When HIV first emerged, especially through the 1980s and 1990s, it arrived as terror, fear, stigma, death. There was a period where it felt unstoppable and where people genuinely wondered if society could cope. Today, for many people with access to modern treatment, HIV is a chronic, manageable condition. That doesn't erase the suffering of earlier decades, but it shows what time, research, and medicine can do. COVID sits somewhere on that same historical arc. A new threat, fear, urgent decisions, imperfect responses, then gradually understanding. And here's the uncomfortable truth: medicine never looks neat when it's happening. In real time, medicine works with probabilities, not promises, not certainties, probabilities, with incomplete data, with updates, revisions, and course corrections. That can feel unsettling, especially if what we really crave is reassurance. Some people respond to that discomfort by outsourcing trust completely. Others respond by rejecting trust altogether. And the same, and some, and some find comfort in stories that feel more certain than reality. But certainty is often the wrong thing to chase. A healthier question is not, who can I trust completely? It's, which explanations survive time? That's why this trilogy wasn't really about vaccines. It was about how humans behave under pressure, how fear changes the way we process information, how some stories fade when reality doesn't cooperate, and how others persist because they meet an emotional need. If you look back now, many of the loudest claims from the earlier pandemic years simply didn't age well. Not because anyone silenced them, but because life went on. Hospitals didn't collapse from vaccines, genetic catastrophes didn't appear, civilization didn't unravel. What lingered instead was fatigue, mistrust, a sense of being emotionally bruised. And that's understandable. Living through uncertainty takes a toll, even after the danger passes. If there's one thing I like to leave with you, it's this. You don't need perfect certainty to live well. You don't need to resolve every doubt. And you don't need to hold on to fear once it's no longer serving you. History shows us that humans are remarkably good at surviving crisis and then slowly, quietly moving forward. COVID COVID will not be the last health crisis we face. Medicine will never be perfect. Public decisions will always be made with incomplete information. But we don't need to panic to navigate that. And we don't need blind faith either. What we need is perspective, is context. The ability to step back, to notice what time has clarified, and to let go of stories that keep us tense when we no longer need them. That's not giving up vigilance, that's choosing calm. And that's how most medical crises eventually end, not with certainty, but with coexistence.